To extend this year's enhanced collaboration. And Tourism Ministry figures show that the United Kingdom, or UK, has been the third country to cross the 100,000 tourist arrival mark so far this year.
28th July as a government holiday to extend this year's Independence Day celebrations. As this year marks the 60th Independence Day celebrations. As this year marks the 60th anniversary of Maldives' independence, several activities are scheduled to take place in celebration of Independence Day, marked on 26 July.
The President's office explained in addition to the events scheduled for the 27th of July, the program also includes significant activities for the following day, prompting the President to declare an additional government holiday. The government is gearing up for a grand celebration of Maldives' 60th anniversary of independence next month. He said some of the planned activities include sharing relevant historical information and facts along with a host of other events, adding that the public can expect the Maldives National Defense Force or MNDF military parade and the much-anticipated iconic float procession in the capital, Male. Other activities initiated by the Ministry of Divihi Language and Culture include a short film festival in collaboration with the Maldives National Center for the Arts, or NCA, a photography competition open to the public. The ministry, meanwhile, has invited applications for the design of a special logo for the 60th Independence Day. Independence Day, celebrated annually on July 26th, marks the day in 1965 when the Maldives gained independence from British colonial rule, which began in 1887. Last year, the government had avoided a grand celebration by scrapping the Independence Day float procession and other festivities as part of the austerity measures taken to cut down on government expenditure.
The Minister of Finance and Planning, Musa Zamir, holds discussions with senior officials of Sinosure to discuss enhanced collaboration on insurance coverage for development projects.
The Ministry of Finance and Planning said Minister Zamir had met with the President and senior officials of Sinosure to discuss ongoing fiscal reforms and enhanced collaboration on insurance coverage for developed projects on the sidelines of the 10th Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, or AIIB, annual meeting in Beijing. Sinosure, officially known as the China Export and Credit Insurance Corporation, is a state-funded and policy-oriented insurance company in China. Its primary role is to support China's foreign trade and investment by providing export credit insurance and other financial services. During his ongoing visit, Minister Zamir had represented the Maldives at the AIIB Governor's Special Session in Beijing and witnessed the election of Madam Zhu Jiayi as the bank's next president. The minister said the Maldives government was looking forward to working with AIIB in advancing sustainable and inclusive development. The annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the AIIB is taking place from the 24th to the 26th of June at the China National Convention Center. The annual meeting brings together representatives from AIIB member countries, development partners, business leaders, civil society organizations, media professionals, and international experts. This year's theme, Connecting for Development, Collaborating for Progress, reflects AIIB's strategic focus on enhancing connectivity and supporting inclusive growth through infrastructure. The meeting also marks the 10th anniversary of AIIB's founding, providing an opportunity to reflect on its achievements and discuss future directions. A new president of the AIIB will be elected during the meeting. Over 3,500 delegates are expected to attend the three-day event, which will focus on the bank's four priority areas: green and sustainable financing, cross-border connectivity and regional cooperation, leveraging private capital and digital transformation, and smart infrastructure. AIIB is a multilateral development bank established to finance infrastructure projects that support the development goals of its member countries. Launched with 57 founding members, the bank has grown to include 110 members from across the world. Those members represent over 80% of the global population and more than half of the global GDP. The Maldives is a founding member of the AIIB. The bank has supported development efforts in the Maldives through infrastructure investment and technical assistance.
Ministry of Tourism and Environment figures show that the United Kingdom, UK, has become the third country to cross the 100,000 tourist arrivals mark so far this year.
According to the ministry, a total of 1,074,703 tourists have arrived in the Maldives so far this year, registering a 9.1% increase over the same period last year. The UK joins China and Russia in crossing the 100,000 tourist mark so far this year. Top 5 tourist source markets include China with 133,538 tourists, Russia 122,300 tourists, the UK with 105,896 tourists, Italy 85,650 tourists, Germany 8,834 tourists. The latest tourism figures showed that the Maldives welcomes 6,176 tourists on average every day. The majority of tourists have spent their holidays in resorts so far this year, with 72.1% of tourists, followed by guest houses with 22.7% and tourist hotels in third with 2.8%. The bed capacities of these facilities is 64,000. The government aims to attract 2.3 million tourists this year.
The government has extended the deadline on applications for the opportunity to participate in the Khatib training program for local island and atoll councillors. The National Center for the Holy Quran said that those who wish to participate in the Khatib training program for councillors should submit their CV, copy of national identity card, highest educational certificate and proof of employment before 1 p.m. on 3rd July. According to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, 50 people will be given the opportunity in the first round. The shortage of imams and khatibs in many islands has led to the reliance on foreign imams and the need to bring in khatibs from abroad, especially during Ramadan. The government has initiated a nationwide effort to produce trained khatibs across the country to tackle this issue. The ministry said the opportunity will be given to councillors to deliver the Friday sermon after completing a 3-month course conducted through the Quran Center. The selection criteria for the course will include proficiency in reading the Holy Quran, Divahi and Arabic. The duration of the course is 15 weeks, with classes scheduled 5 days a week held online from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. The government has also launched a Young Khatibs program, which has been completed by around 270 young men in the first 2 rounds. The government has set a goal to train 1,000 young khatibs during this term. Bank of Maldives (BML) says over a dozen fishermen have secured financing from the bank thus far. BML had entered into a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with the Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources to facilitate easy access to finance for fishermen on 28 April. This collaboration will enable fishermen registered on the National Fishermen's Register to access a variety of credit facilities, including personal financing, credit cards, and home loans based on their income. Under the new arrangement, eligible fishermen can access personal financing up to $19,455 without collateral or equity requirements. For the first time in the Maldives, repayment schedules will be structured considering seasonal variations in fishing income. According to BML, 38 fishermen have applied for loans from those registered in the National Register of Fishermen, since applications were opened on 1st May. So far, BML has disbursed loans to 14 fishermen, while 8 more applications are currently under evaluations. Applications for personal financing and Louis loans can be submitted through the bank's internet or mobile banking app, ensuring accessibility from anywhere across the Maldives. In addition to personal financing, once registered on the National Fishermen's Register, fishermen will also be able to apply for home build financing, home purchase financing, and home construction financing. The incumbent government has initiated several initiatives to address the concerns of local fishermen. The National Fishermen's Registry was established to promote financial inclusion and empowerment of local fishermen. Authorities expand the ongoing crackdown on undocumented expatriates outside the capital Male, with a major operation now underway in the southernmost atoll, Adu City. About 25 immigration officers and 25 police officers are involved in the operation. Divided into 13 different teams, will be raiding expat hotspots in all areas across the city. The operation was launched at 7 a.m. after a special briefing at the Adu Police School, where officers involved were briefed on the details of the raids. Speaking to PSM News, Controller General of Immigration Ahmed Fasih said the operation will help solve the problem of undocumented foreigners in the atolls. Fasih said despite several opportunities to regularize, many foreign expatriates are still choosing to be in the Maldives illegally. This initiative, launched in May 2024, is part of broader efforts by the government to solve the issue of undocumented migrants in the Maldives, while a special operation titled Operation Kurangi has been launched to collect information on foreigners. The operation is being conducted by establishing a system within local councils to collect biometric data from foreign nationals. The government aims to bring a permanent solution to the issue of illegal migrants in Maldives by April 2027. According to the government, nearly 7,000 illegal migrants have been deported. U.S. stocks rallies more than 1% as investors welcomed a fragile truce with Israel and Iran while passing Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's congressional testimony for clues regarding the U.S. central bank's path forward.
All three major U.S. stock indexes closed with their second straight session of solid gains following U.S. missile strikes on Iran's uranium enrichment assets. The benchmark S&P 500 grew within striking distance of its all-time closing high reached on February 19th. Late June 23rd, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire agreement which Israel appeared to have violated. Still, investors viewed the ceasefire rhetoric as a sign of de-escalating tensions. Crude prices led on warning supply concerns related to the conflict, dragging energy shares lower.
Chair Powell's testimony today is really consistent with what he said after the meeting, which is very much wait and see. He believes that he can wait to see more economic data come through and is looking to either see evidence in the next 3 months that tariffs really have very little impact on consumer inflation, or is there more deterioration in the labor market that they need to get ahead of from the Federal Reserve? Now, we did have a couple of speakers, Waller and Bowman, come out and talk about perhaps a July cut, and I think that really puts a lot of attention on the upcoming PCE inflation data as to is the Fed getting enough of a signal that inflation is weak to start another rate cut cycle. But very much, I think Chair Powell stuck to his message of wait and see, evaluate some data, and then start to make decisions.
Powell, speaking before the U.S. House of Representatives Financial Services Committee, reiterated his view that rate cuts can wait until the economic effects of tariff increases are better known. Financial markets have been pricing in a more than 20% likelihood that the Fed will lower its key interest rate at the conclusion of its July policy meeting, and a near 70% probability that its first rate cut will land in September. On the economic front, consumer confidence deteriorated this month, with pessimism toward the job market falling to its lowest level since March 2021. The S&P 500 gained 67.01 points, or 1.11%, to end at 6,092.18 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 281.56 points, or 1.43%, to 19,912.53. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 507.24 points, or 1.19%, to 43,089.02.
The Iranian Red Crescent Society releases a video which purported to show Red Crescent workers inspecting the damage caused by an Israeli strike on Iran.
Reuters says the agency was not able to independently verify the location or the date when the video was filmed. Israel's bombing campaign, launched with a surprise attack on June 13th, wiped out the top echelon of Iran's military leadership, killed its leading nuclear scientists, and targeted nuclear sites and missiles. Iran responded with missiles that pierced Israel's defenses in large numbers for the first time. After 12 days of Israeli airstrikes that echoed in cities around the country, a ceasefire was brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump between Iran and Israel. Iranian authorities said 610 people had been killed and nearly 5,000 injured in Iran, where the extent of the damage could not be independently confirmed because of the tight restrictions on media. 28 people were killed in Israel.
Palestinians in Gaza City bids farewell to loved ones killed in Israeli attacks, including those killed in Israeli strikes and by Israeli fire while seeking aid, according to Gaza's health ministry.
In recent weeks, Israeli forces have repeatedly opened fire on Palestinians gathered at aid distribution points, resulting in dozens of deaths and injuries. Humanitarian groups say that Gaza Humanitarian Foundation system forces people to risk their lives by entering combat zones to access food. Israel has said its actions were necessary to control crowds that posed a threat to its troops or to prevent breaches of restricted zones. But witnesses and human rights groups say many of the shootings appeared unprovoked and occurred without warning. In a statement last week, Hamas, which says Israel uses hunger as a weapon against Gaza civilians, accused Israel of systematically targeting Palestinians seeking food. Israel denies this and contends Hamas steals aid, which the group denies. The war in Gaza was triggered when Hamas-led militants attacked Israel on October 7, 2023, killing 1,200 people and taking 251 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Israel's subsequent air and ground war in Gaza has killed more than 56,000 Palestinians, according to its Hamas-run health ministry, while displacing almost the entire population of more than 2 million and spreading a hunger crisis.
Michael Conforto homered and doubled. Shohei Ohtani also went deep, and the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the scuffling Colorado Rockies 9-7 in Denver.
Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith and Andy Pages had 2 hits apiece for Los Angeles in an inning of work before Wroblewski came on. Wroblewski threw to Jordan Beckes, who matched the Dodgers with 14 hits. German Marquez, 3-9, allowed 6 runs, non-earned, and fanned 6 in 4 innings before leaving. Marquez rolled his ankle in the 4th but stayed in to get the final out. The Rockies went ahead 2-0 on a pair of RBI doubles from Toglia in the 1st and 3rd innings, but Los Angeles rallied in the 4th. Freddie Freeman reached on Toglia's error at first, and Smith and Muncy singled to load the bases with no outs. Freeman scored on Hernandez's ground out, Pages drove in Smith with a fielder's choice to tie it, and Conforto homered to right to make it 5-2. Toglia's second error of the inning put Tommy Edman on, and he scored a double by Beck. Colorado got one back in the 5th when Beck signaled. Toglia doubled, and Thairo Estrada hit a sacrifice fly, but Los Angeles answered in the 6th inning. Edman led off with a single, and Ohtani homered just over the fence in the left field. It was his National League leading 27th of the season. The Rockies added a run in the 7th on Estrada's RBI single and cut it to 8-7 in the 8th. Tyler Freeman hit a run-scoring double, and Beck's double drove in 2 more. The Dodgers padded the lead in the 9th on Hernandez's RBI double.
A Nepalese drone technology company has used UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, on Mount Everest to transport crucial mountaineering equipment up perilous crevices, and then using the same drones to transport trash back down the mountain.
Mount Everest, The world's highest peak and one of Earth's most remote locations is plagued by the modern scourge of garbage. Camps are strewn with torn tents. Airlift Technology is addressing this crisis by developing drones to deliver supplies and remove the waste from Everest. Estimates it removed over 1,000 kg, 1 tons of trash between March and May 2000. Deploys the DJI Flycart 30, capable of carrying up to 15 kilograms, 33 pounds of cargo. The drones transport critical supplies like oxygen bottles, ladders, and ropes from Everest Base Camp 5,364 meters to Camp 1, 6,065 meters, in just 3 minutes in ideal weather conditions. This is a journey that takes Sherpa guides 6 to 7 hours across the treacherous Khumbu Icefall, a perilous passage which is riddled with crevices and piled with serac, or huge chunks of ice that can break free without warning. On return trips, the drones carry down trash including food packaging, oxygen canisters, and human waste left by the climbers. In September 2024, Airlift Technology reached an agreement with the local government, Khumbu Pasang Lamu Rural Municipality, and local NGO Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee (SPCC) to fly the drones. They also worked alongside Icefall Doctors, a team that maintains and fixes the route up Everest. As of 2024, over 7,000 people have climbed the 8,850-meter high, 29,035 feet Mount Everest, many of them several times, since it was first scaled by New Zealander Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa in 1953. Cleanup operations are ongoing, airlift tech still remaining at the various camps, with some estimating 50 tons of trash on the mountain, 1,000 kg of rubbish, but the problem persists due to decades of climbing and lax regulations.